Okay. Thank you for not letting me know, Anamika. I'm not recording. I forgot. So, like the last time. And now it's recording, and you can see the recording after the session. I will give the link in the group. So, if you can see my screen, just say yes in the chat box. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. So I think Pranav will definitely have a doubt about this session because we started the recording in just the middle of the session. Just 10 minutes just passed, and I think the more core concept of the models is just passed. I will explain him later. So if you open that terminal, I would like to say that you activate your virtual environment that you created last session, that is VNV. So you can see how I am activating my virtual environment. If you created that same name of your virtual environment, that is VNV, you can type that same command. And for Nandana, as you have already installed your PyCharm and everything is already set up, so you don't have to do anything. Just bear with me for a minute. So let me activate my environment. And now my environment is activated, and let me shade you into the directory of my project. Here we are. We have our project main directory. Inside the main directory, and I will just start my Python shell inside it by the command python manage.py shell. After running this command, it's like a Jupyter notebook. If you ever worked with Jupyter notebook, it's like similar to that, but you will understand it if you ever worked with the Jupyter. If you didn't work with any time, if you did, if you now have you, if you, sorry. Okay, can you see my screen? Yeah. So from here, we will try to import our model from that app that is our inside, that is main, and we will try to create an object here that we created using the Django administration site. But if sometimes you want to work with a command line system or to use the API system of Django to create or delete or modify something that we can't able to do from the Django administration, you can do it by command line using Django shell. So after that, I will import my model from main. For that, from main dot my model file name models import a model name, that is blog post. So here my model is imported, uh, and I imported my model that is blog post, which I created in my main folder inside the model file. After that, I want to see all the objects that we created in the last session. For that, I will run a command that is blog post objects dot all, and it will retrieve all the object that we created in the last session. So here we are, and we can see our all the objects that we created. That means whatever the data we stored in the last session from the Django administration side to the database. And you can see here what we created, that something new too. I created today. My name is Shulanshu, and that's all. You are seeing this because I given the str function in the model file. As you can see in the last session, Let me zoom into that so you can see. In the last session, when we don't have that str function in the blog post, we weren't able to see the actual things inside the database or whatever the object is storing. That means we are getting the name as object 1, object 2, object 3. So I created a function named str, that is string representation of that object that you're creating using class. It's like a whole concept of the Python classes. That means you're creating an object of a blog post, and after that, to see someone is joining. I can't see. Okay, someone is messaging. Who is that? Okay, I thought it was Prana. So we created a method name def and function name string representation, and it is returning us a title of that object that we are trying to store in that model. After that, I want to create a object as we did in the Django admission site that we saw in the last session, but I want to create from the command line that is here. So I will run a command that is, I will store my object in the file variable name, variable name q. So blog post create. Okay. Let me figure out something. If I am correct or not. Uh, yeah, I'm correct. So I will give the file name title and whatever my title name is. After that, it will create an object and store in variable q for temporary. And if I look into that, I have my object name, whatever my title name is. That is created a copy of object blog post and stored in the variable name q. If you're understanding the Python, you must understanding what I am saying here, because it's all about classes and object things, all the concept of the object oriented programming. But that's all the things are just closely mixed in Django. So it is created, but it's not stored in the database. If I run the command blog post dot object dot all, I might not be able to see that object created inside my database. Let me show you. If I You can see here we have not created the object inside the database, but we created a copy of a object inside that terminal that we are using right now. It's not saved in the database. To save it in the database, we have to run another command, that is q.save. And whether you are inside the Django file, that is in models files or in view file, wherever you want to save something inside the database, you have to run the command, your object name and dot save method. So after running this, if I run the command blog post dot objects dot all, I might be able to see the object that I created right now inside my database. So here you can see my object is created inside my database. That means, so we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 queries that we got from the blogs post model from the database. For example, we are seeing our data from the command line and inside the Django administration. But what about if we want our data to be showed on a web page? For that purpose, we need to work with context. That is, we will provide store our query, that is whatever the list we are getting, that is something new too, my name Sudhanshu, and that is all. So it will be stored inside a one object, and we will pass that context, that is whatever the variable, whatever the information we are storing in that variable, to the HTML page to render it out, and so that we can see. So I will explain it better in the example. So just move right into the project folders, and I will fire up my code editor inside here. So inside the main file, I will go into the index views, and I will try to fetch all the objects that we created inside the database, that is something new to you, my name is Sudhanshu, and whatever my name is, that all those things will I will transfer it to the HTML web page using my views and fetching the data from the database. So let's start, and I will name it as a data, and getting the request, and after that I need to import my model here, so that I can, as you know that you need to work with Django, whatever the Django is providing the API to communicate with the database, that is writing or reading. So from like here, from model main dot models import blog post, same as follows. I will do in the that views.py file. You can't directly access the data using SQL commands or anything. You have to work with the API which is given by Django. So for that purpose, I will import my model inside it. You know, importing model importing py files and functions and classes. You know what I'm doing. Import blog post. So I imported my class name blog post from inside the model.py file. That is our the structure of our data, sorry, table inside the database, and from that we can communicate to our data or the database. So now I will get all the object and store it in an object name query. To get all the object, I need to run the command blog post dot get blog post dot objects dot all, and it will return all the objects inside the query set. So I need to return it, so that if you don't return the whatever the page you are requesting for, or whatever the URL you are requesting for, won't get any data. So you need to return something, otherwise it will show bad error or whatever the code you will see if you don't specify any return function. But for now, I will return my query set. To return it, I will use HTTP response and return my query set inside it. I'm just showing you how you can work with models and returning all the object to the web page. And after that, we will work with the template engine of the template engine of the Django. So we created a view. Now we have to configure with the URL, so that what if we type a URL name that we want to type, so he can go to the that view name data and fetch all the object inside from the database. That is the table name is blog post, and give it to the variable name query set, whatever the list we get from the database, and return it to the query set. After that, it will return the response in HTTP, and the containing the variable name query set. So I will go into my url.py file inside the main folder, to configure the data view, path, and if I want to give it name as a list, so that my URL will be localhost/list, and I need to give it a view, pass any view. So I will pass my view that we created, that I created name, data, and the name is specifier can be anything, but it should be any. So list. For now, I will just name it as a list. For that, let me fire up my terminal here to get out of the cell that we launched. I need to get out of that cell. Exit. Exit out of the cell. Type the command exit. After that, run your server. Manage.py. Run server. So now our server is running, and we can go to that URL that we created. That is what the URL name we gave is list. And let's see, we are able to see what we are trying to do or not. So slash.list, and here we are. So it is returning us all the content from the database and giving us a HTTP response. That the thing we are trying to do is actually successful, but not actually worthy to be used in actual scenarios, because I'm not understanding which data is which and which is which, and how many actually objects there are. It's just a single line string. So for that, now for this, we will now start with a template. So in to set up a template in Django, we need to give it as a folder, so where the Django can look for the templates. Why we actually need the template? That is, for example, you have a you designed a page where you have a multiple block, where you have multiple posts, and you want your data to be fetched from the database, and you want automatically create a small boxes of the data. uh, if you can see, let me give you the example how what I'm trying to say. Inside here, you can see we have created a small box signifying a single object. Whoever created a single object, getting a single object for the every object. So similarly, we want something kind of a list, or we want our data to be in specific box, so that we can identify it as a single object, not the single string or a single object. We stored 4 objects in the database, and we want them to be a separate. So we give a sim template so that it can render whatever the feel and whatever the appearance we want to be showed to the people, and how we want our data to be manipulated on the screen. For that, let's jump right in the settings.py file inside your my site folder. Okay, inside the my site folder, and go to the settings.py folder, and go scroll down and go to the templates, and type os.path.join, and type base dir, that is our base directory, and the name of the folder we want to Django to look for, where it where he should look for the files that we are creating, that is the template files or whatever the HTML file we want to create inside of that folder. So we need to specify inside the dirs inside the templates. If you don't specify the dir, it will still work fine, but it will create a much for example, let me show what it can cause you some errors if you don't specify the template folder. For example, you have two applications named main and another application named accounts. In the both app, you have two template names, home.html inside the main app, and inside the accounts app, you have another template name home.html. So Django won't be able to figure out which template is related to which template, and you might see something unexpected that you want, yet that you don't want to see. So we can work without even the specifying the dir for now. So I just give you the configuration settings that is required to work with the Django templates. But for now, I will not give anything inside the dirs. If you want to give anything, you can give it, but I will explain it why we actually need to give a template or the template folder name inside the dirs. So inside the main app, create another folder name templates, and inside the template create a new file and name it as a home.html, and inside the home.html, let's work with now Django templating system. You can read more about it, Django templating system, from the documentation of that Django project. So I will just explain you some stuff, how the variables are given and passed to the templates, and whatever the data you got from the database is passed to the HTML file. So I created a small HTML file and it's just empty for now. So inside my views.py file, go to into that .py file and remove that HTTP response redirect, and give it a function name that we imported, that is render, and give the request here, and the name of the template that we created is home.html, and we don't need to give anything at all for now. I will just show you how it's working with the templates. And after that, if you see here, I haven't provided a query set inside here or anything at all, so you might be confusing how he will be able to put that all data inside of the home.html, and also we have a empty html. So to make it better for now, I will just type this is my template. So now I created a simple template, and to show you it's I'm working with my template. I named it, give it a single line h1 tag, and write my line that is my template, and you can whatever you can type whatever you want. So after that, if your Django project is already reloaded, you can go to your browser and go to that browser and go to that URL that you given before and reload it. If you reload it, you will see the whatever the tag and the data I gave in the template is now here. Now we are working with the template. The benefit of the Django and the working with the template is you can see in the address bar I provided here sorry, I provided with here with home.html, but in browser we are giving a list, that is the URL we specified in the urls.py file. So we are not having any kind of syntax like .html, .php, .asp. It is neat and clean rather than the other frameworks we have like in PHP. So it is totally clean. We don't have to worry about, because if you ever work with a web development, you might see these things as ugly things, and it is not recommended anywhere. Even if you go to your facebook.com or any website, you won't say anything like facebook.com index.php or anything at all. It's just simply clean. So that's why that's the benefit of the Django. It doesn't include any kind of extension here, and it's simply smooth. So how the template is rendering, I can show you here. So I will just rename it as a something else. So it will give some error, and I will explain it why I want to create some error. Not way. I will give it something anything else. And let me reload it. After the reloading, it's saying template does not exist at slash dot list. That is not able to figure out where the template is and how the Django is looking inside the folders and figuring out where is the template name HGE HTML is. You can see here. So Django is using templating engine and the list of the folders inside where it is looking for the templates. So it is looking inside the templates dot in the main folder of your app. That is, you given your app name, that is main, and inside the folder templates and looking for the he.html. And first it is in the order. So first it will look inside the Django content.admin, that is already installed your pre-installed component, and auth.pre-installed component. Auth is also the pre-installed component. After that, it will look into the installed component by yourself, that you created by yourself, that is main, and it is looking into the inside the folder name templates, but it can't figure out where it is. So it is returning us with template does not exist. If I rename it as a, again rename it as a home.html. So we will try to figure out. So you can see we have again working template here. After that, we have a simple raw template and hard coded that line. This is my template. I want my data to be shown on this template. To show my data on the template, I need to pass that data to the template. To pass that data, so I will create a dictionary name context and give it a name that I will use in the home.html, that is data, and I will put my query set list inside that. Sorry, I will pass that my query set list to the variable name data inside the dictionary query set. So I have passed my query set to the name data inside the context dictionary, and I will pass my dictionary to the that to that template. So I need to give here the context. Okay, now here you can see my Django is again reloaded, and now it is getting all the data from the object from the database, fetching all the object, passing into that data name inside key inside the context dictionary, and we are passing that dictionary to the home.html using that render function, that is getting the request and getting the template name and what the context it needed to be figured out so it can go into the template and match all the things that you are passing with the actual template data. That is your, this is my template, and after that you want to show all the list of that data inside it. So I want my data to be shown as a list. So to show my data as a list, I will create a for loop inside my home.html. It is possible to create a for loop inside a template. That's how Django work. And you have a multiple different kind of tags and variable. You can different types of tags that you can work with in Django, and you can find out all these things inside that Django documentation. And I don't want to get inside that much. And here we can see we are using the tags, template tags, and you can learn more about it. I will give the link in the WhatsApp group to get to know about the more kinds of variables and types of variable, and what you can do with and what the filters you can use here, and the template tags. For now I want to use something kind of similar to this, that is for loop, and I will create the list. And for now I will just copy that, so we don't have to type that much. So I have passed my data. Sorry, I have passed my query set to the key name data. So I have to give it here in data, and that is our the iterator variable name choice, and you can give it anything, not a big deal. And I gave it as a, and you can here work as similarly as you work within Python, and a dot title, and you have to include the end here also too. After you start, after you create a loop, you have to also end it. So this is how the template tags are inside the Django. You have to create braces, curly braces, and two percentage. Give it a two space, and inside the between of these, you have to write. This is how our conditional statement like if and else and loop, all the template tags that I will show you after just this. And to pass the variable, you need to use two curly braces that is given here. How? You don't have to use any percentage here for that variable. This is how our for condition. To use the for condition, I have to use curly braces and the percentage too. And to end it, I have to use curly braces and percentage and use a name and for. If I am using a if function here, or I want to use a if condition here, I have to write here percentage if and the condition, and whatever your condition is. After that, you need to close your condition too. For that, I need to write here and if. So simple, so simple. After that, now we will check our browser, is it working or not. So I will go into my browser and reload here, and you can now see here we are getting our object, and we are getting in the form of a list now, and I can identify we have a four object which is stored inside a database. So that's how you can create any for loop inside the home.html, and you can pass it here like this. To give you more insight what kind of things you can actually use inside the template, let me show you templating engine in the documentation. templates. Inside the template, so here you can see the tags like if, and these are the filters tags, and you can learn more about it. Where are the tags? Here is the only given the for loop. So, and these are the variables. So I guess I need to figure out where they are actually inside the documentation. So I will give you the link and what kind of actual variables and the conditions and things you can use inside the template. So we have now working template with rendering with the data from the database. But if you go here, we don't have any kind of styling here, nothing interesting. And we will also talk about it, how you can, if I want something that if the for counter is even or odd, I want something not to be shown, I can use if condition here. Or if I want something that it shouldn't be shown if the user is not authenticated, we can also do it here. And I can show you how it is rendering by using the inspect. It is just like the actual HTML, nothing Python code here. It is rendering. It's totally just fine like actual HTML file. And you can see it here. It's nothing. Something definitely totally what I'm actually trying to do inside my template. So we have now working template and we are passing our data to the template using the context here. And now I can show you. Now we can actually, what we can do now, we can give it as a home URL. So whenever the person click on the localhost, it will see the list that we are actually seeing using the URL localhost as slash list, and you can just rename anytime you like, and when you can rename it whenever you like, and how do you want to be shown the list and how you want your URL to be accessed. Like here I'm revealing my localhost, and you can see I changed my localhost URL index URL to the view that is we created data view. That's why changing here. So it's not very big and very heavy task to assign URLs and change URL after you create them. So simple. So after that, I also want to show you something, guys. That is, um, let's see what was I was talking about. Are you guys able to hear me? I haven't seen the chat for so long. Okay. So did you guys tried anything that I just actually did, or just you guys watched it what I'm doing? Let's try to work with Bootstrap. How we can give something styling to that our page. So move into that part, because this is not something good that I don't I'm it's totally not my kind of thing that I usually do. So I want these things to be removed and see something wonderful template here for to use Bootstrap. Go to the Bootstrap site and loaded as everything as you did in the HTML file. It's nothing pretty much different or anything different as you do in other HTML project or web development project. So I will go into the Bootstrap and go to the get started and copy my CDN link of CSS file, and I will just paste it right above here, and just showing you how you guys can use, and I can actually use this starter template too. So I will use my starter template. It's already covering all the things that body tag, head tag. So I will just remove this and work with my starter template and pass these all these things inside my starter template inside the body, and remove the hello world here and put my code inside here, and after that I can save it. And if you go to your home page and reload it again, and if you reload it, and now you see something is changed here, because now the styling is which we are seeing here is used by whatever the styling we are seeing here is from the Bootstrap, and we can verify it using the inspect inside the browser. And here you can see we have properly loaded our Bootstrap, and inside the body we have totally all the things as we expected, but still it's not very good and not very beautiful to look at. So we will do something about it too. So I will go into the content part. Inside the component, I will work with list group, and we have something kind of this. I will just copy this and this part too and paste it right inside my here, and here I need to do something here, and give a class name to that list element inside my for loop. That's all. After in the class name, I need to close the unordered unordered list. Now my list is closed, and now reload the page again. Now see what we are seeing actually here. Yeah, now it's something more better and good good looking, rather than just bulletin points. You can do whatever you like from here and change the things that you with the way you want it, but I'm just illustrating you how you can get the data from the model and actually pass to your template, that is home.html, and render it. So for now, I think we have discussed creating a model fields that we created, that is the text field, and you can create other fields as well like URL, text or text field, text area, email field, and file field. We will work them with later. If you want to create and try things out, you can go to the Django documentation and look for the model fields. And we created our default homepage to the custom homepage that we are seeing here, and we have been working with the URL routing and request, that is here. We just changed our URL, and we are passing now our index to the list, and view data view to the home page. And we have we used a for loop inside the template, and we rendered our actual context inside the template. And for tomorrow we will be using conditions inside the template. how we can use the conditions here to manipulate the content. If you use a condition here, so whatever the part in the else condition, if it is not true or if it is not false, then the whatever the part that doesn't need to be rendered won't be actually be displayed here too. That won't be able to be rendered in the actual form here. It's good. So our content will be hidden here and it will decide based on the condition. So tomorrow we will try to work with creating object. Uh, let's see, condition, we remain with the condition and the template tags and the filler. We are rendering data from the database and how the Django templates loads, and we have discussed about it too, and we need to work with Django form. That is, tomorrow we will discuss about how you can use conditions and how you can actually get data from the user using the browser. Here here we will create a form so that whatever the data user is typing, we can get and store it in the database or whatever we like to do with it. So if you guys have any doubt, so should we register our template in dir? It's like if you don't register your template in dir, it Django is totally okay if you don't even use a template. If you don't give a template directory inside the dirs, it will still try to locate it inside your app template folder. But for to not run Django with the templating engine, or you don't want to be mess, or you don't want to create a too much confusion for the Django, like if you have a same name for two templates, so you don't want to be, you want them to be specific, so you should give it specific template folder name. So on you, whatever you like. I can also use os.path.join and give it here base.dir and the template folder name, that is template. But I prefer to create a template inside that app, but people usually prefer to create a folder inside your project directory and with the name template, and inside the template you create another folder then with the name of your app. But I think it's not that good way to do the things, but I prefer you create template folder inside your app, and inside that template folder you give your put your all the template related to that object, related to that app. That is our, in my case it is main. Any else doubt you have, Nandana? If you can just try with any example, you give it, create two app. Sir, how we can get into cell? It's very simple. Just let me cancel my server here. Stop my server here. Okay. So I am in the project directory. That is inside the SRC folder, and inside the SRC folder, I will run a command that is python manage.py and cell. After running this command, I will be inside my cell. That is, I can use all the API to communicate with the database, which is given by the Django, and to connect with a specific model that we want, that is our blog post. To connect with that, I need to import it inside the cell, that is from your app name main, and the name of the model file, that is models, and import, and the model name, that is blog post. Now we imported our model and model file. From our model file we imported a class. You can create class, or you can say we imported our model that we created for blog post. And to retrieve all the objects, we can run a command post blog post dot objects dot all, and it will give return with all the object that we have inside the blog post model, that is our table inside the database. To save anything, you can do just like it. You need to create a object from the blog post and giving it whatever data you want to save, and give inside the inside the braces. And after that you need to run a command save. If you don't run a save method, your data won't be saved inside that database. It will be just inside that terminal. So I think that's clear. And we can now also see our admin. Want to go inside the admin and see that we stored a whatever my title name is inside my admin. First I need to close the terminal. We'll run the command exit here. After exiting, I need to run the server again. After running the server, I'm reloading, and inside the blog post, and here here is the object and the data which we saved using our cell. It's not here because it's not here, it's moved. So you can either save data from here, from the Django administration. You can manage your data from here. Also you can manage your data from the cell. If you have something very, if you want to try out things like filtering objects and working how you want your how you want to return a data, you can try out things inside the cell. After you get the insight how you want your data to be retrieved, go to your views file and just change it here. You can use, there are some different kind of functions are here to use. I can show you. That is a filter function that will allow us to filter the data based on the condition. And also there is a function named order which allow us to order the our list. That is, if we have a date defined inside the blog posts, so we want our data to be ordered in the current date, so old to new or new to old. So we can use the order function, but we will explain it later. Or it's not that very hard to work with, and you can just you can learn it by yourself from the Django demo documentation. So it's now, I think it's more than enough for now, and we will continue from here tomorrow. If you have any doubt, you can just ask me now, because it's better to be asked here rather than after the session. Anamika, Lakshmi, Jason, if you have any doubt, you can ask here. Hello, Anamika, Jason, and Lakshmi. If you have any doubt, you can ask. If you don't, you can just type in the comment box or chat box. And Lakshmi, so did you guys actually created a template and worked with that, or you just watched me throughout this session? Yes or no? You can just type it. Okay, 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 Nandana. Okay, okay, okay. So if you get any doubt, you can ask in the next session, and we will first cover up all the doubts, and then we will go into the next part. So thank you. We will cover it from tomorrow. Thank you.